Welcome to another episode of Office Hours, the recap, where we go a little deeper into the discussion that we had in our Discord room over on chatbotbuilder.ai. Let's get started.
Hey you, and welcome back for a focused deep dive. I know some of you missed our recent CBB Nation office hours, but look, no sweat if you couldn't make it, because we're about to unpack the really crucial insights, the most helpful tips and strategies we covered. Think of this as your personal debrief, designed to get you up to speed fast with actionable knowledge you can use right away to boost your bot building.
That's right. It was honestly a really lively and informative session, and we wanted to make sure everyone benefits from the expertise shared. Our conversation really centered on making your work within the CBB platform even smoother, more impactful.
Exactly. We sort of zeroed in on a few key areas. We talked about getting a better handle on your technical setup, especially when you're in the thick of building a bot.
Right, the workflow stuff.
Yeah. And we also spent time on how to structure your educational content effectively, especially if you're creating courses around, leveraging CBB.
And the big one too.
Oh yeah, and a big one. We tackled practical strategies for smart lead generation using the power of chatbots. Our aim here is just to distill the most valuable takeaways so you can implement them immediately.
Okay, so to kick us off, one of the more relatable discussions we had involved something pretty fundamental to our daily workflow, just managing our web browsers.
This was something I think a lot of us could really identify with. Someone brought up experiencing some really odd behavior with tabs just not loading or losing track of the tab they were actually working in. It was weird.
And it turned out they'd actually hit Chrome's surprisingly high tab limit, which is apparently around 70 tabs. Who knew?
70? That's a lot.
It sounds extreme, right? But think about it. You've got your CBB builder open, maybe some documentation, a couple of example bots you're referencing, research tabs. It adds up really quickly. And when you hit that limit, the browser really starts to struggle, leading to those frustrating issues. Tabs not displaying properly, or the active tab just gets lost in the noise. It's basically a sign the browser's resources are stretched thin.
Okay, so the big question then becomes, what can you actually do when you find yourself in that tab jungle? We talked about some really useful solutions. Tab groups were a popular suggestion.
Oh yeah, tab groups. Fantastic.
A way to sort of bundle related tabs together visually.
Exactly. Tab groups are great for reducing that cognitive clutter. You can group all the tabs related to, say, a specific project, and then just collapse that group when you're focusing on something else.
Frees up space.
It frees up valuable real estate on your tab bar and helps you stay organized. But beyond that, even just a simple habit of regularly closing tabs you no longer need, that can make a huge difference. Don't let them pile up.
Just basic tidiness, really. And for those who want an extra layer of organization, we also touched on session saving extensions.
Session savers.
These can be incredibly helpful for saving your entire set of open tabs as a session. You can then close everything down, freeing up your system's resources.
Get RAM back.
Exactly. And then restore that exact set of tabs later when you need them again.
And what's really interesting, I think, is to consider the direct impact all those open tabs have on your computer's performance. That's crucial for efficient bot building, right?
Totally.
Each open tab consumes a certain amount of your computer's RAM. It's random access memory, which is what it uses for active tasks.
So the more tabs
you have open, the more RAM is being used, potentially slowing down your entire system. So managing your tabs isn't just about digital tidiness. It's really about optimizing your machine to work better for you.
Okay, let's pivot now. Let's talk about structuring your bot building projects, and maybe more specifically if you're teaching others about CBB. A key point we discussed was that foundations and setup module, in any kind of CBB customization course.
Yes, absolutely. And the general agreement I felt was that when you're introducing someone to the power of CBB customization, you really want to immediately showcase what's possible with the core user-facing features.
Right, the shiny bits first.
Kind of. Think about the web chats you can build, the landing pages you can create, the forms you can integrate. These are the tangible elements users can see and interact with right away.
Right. So the advice was maybe hold off on getting deep into the nitty-gritty of account settings and like detailed branding options right at the very beginning.
Yeah, maybe push that a bit later.
The initial focus should be on demonstrating the core functionality of CBB, what it can do that they can then learn to customize.
And to really solidify that understanding, we suggested including simple practical examples of each of those core elements early on.
Like a mini build.
Exactly. Show them a basic web chat in action, a straightforward landing page, a simple form collecting info. This lets them quickly grasp the fundamental capabilities before you start introducing more advanced customization techniques.
Which might involve code.
Right, particularly those involving code, which might even be generated by, large language models designed for that purpose. But get the basics down first.
That makes perfect sense. See the basics in action first, then learn how to personalize and extend them. It's all about building a clear and logical learning journey, isn't it?
Totally. Starting with those fundamental concepts and then progressively moving towards more advanced applications, always reinforcing with real-world examples.
Creating that supportive learning structure.
Exactly. Starts with the essentials, builds confidence, builds skills, gradually.
Now, let's jump into a topic that's always top of mind, smart lead generation using bots. We had a really insightful conversation about the most effective strategies for collecting user info. The big question, of course, is timing. When do you ask for that email?
That's such a critical decision point. We discussed the two main approaches. Asking for the email immediately, right when the bot interaction begins.
The upfront ask.
Or adopting more of a value-first strategy, where you provide some initial benefit or information before requesting contact details.
And it sounded like there was a pretty strong consensus leaning towards that value-first approach.
I think so, yeah. Offer some initial value, build a little bit of rapport, and then ask for the information at a natural pause point in the conversation.
Makes sense. People are generally more receptive if they feel they've already gotten something useful.
That's right. They're more willing to share if they've received something of value in return. And a really practical tip that came up was collecting those emails seamlessly within the bot conversation itself.
Yes, this was key. The point was, unless you have a very specific need for complex integrations with other systems, try to avoid just directing users to separate website forms to enter their details.
Keep it in the flow.
Keep the data capture within the bot flow. It just streamlines the whole process for the user.
It absolutely does. It reduces friction,
Yeah.
and critically, it ensures that the data flows directly into your CBB system. Simple. We also had a brief but, important reminder about adhering to data privacy regulations. Things like providing clear privacy notices, obtaining proper consent, the usual compliance stuff.
Gotta have that. And on the topic of effective tactics, we highlighted a really smart lead generation strategy, one that uses CBB's bot simulator. This one really stood out as a powerful technique.
A personalized demo bot. Yeah, this is a fantastic way to engage potential clients. The idea is you quickly create a demonstration bot that's specifically tailored to a prospect.
How? By pulling content from their site.
Exactly, by pulling content directly from their website. Then you send them a link so they can actually see a simulated bot running on their own site.
Wow, that's such a clever approach. It's like showing them a customized preview of what's possible, but it's directly relevant to their business.
It's incredibly impactful because it's both personalized and visual. They can immediately see the potential value proposition in a really tangible way. Much better than just talking about it.
Definitely hits different. Okay, let's shift gears again. Let's think about how we can extend the use of bots beyond just lead gen and actually use them to enhance delivering online courses. We heard some really innovative ideas here.
We did. One particularly interesting concept was progressive content unlocking.
Okay, tell me more.
Imagine releasing different modules of your course based on a learner's engagement with the bot. Maybe they need to complete a little quiz in the bot or interact with specific elements within the bot to unlock the next section of the course.
Oh, interesting. So it encourages active participation, keeps learners motivated to move through the material.
Exactly. Another clever strategy involved integrating bots with video content using pause points.
Video pause points, how does that work?
Well, this is a smart technique for creating a kind of value exchange. You played a portion of a course video, and then at a strategically chosen pause point, maybe before a key takeaway, a bot interaction appears, prompting the user to, say, submit their email address to continue watching the rest of the video.
Ah, I see. So they gain access to more valuable content, but in exchange for their information. It feels much less intrusive than just a standard email gate that starts everything.
Exactly. And a key takeaway here, really, is the importance of creating a truly seamless and integrated user experience.
Yeah, smooth transitions.
Ensuring that smooth transition between your website, the chatbot interactions, and your course platform. We even discussed the potential for using custom follow-up sequences based on how users interact with the bot, allowing for highly personalized content recommendations down the line.
Getting really granular there. Okay, so our final key discussion point really centered on your overall philosophy when it comes to actually developing these bots. What's the recommended approach? Custom code, built-in tools.
Yeah, that recurring theme was about striking the right balance, wasn't it, between using custom code for those really specific, deep customizations.
Yeah, right.
And leveraging the built-in tools and functionalities of the CBB platform for, well, simplicity and long-term stability.
So it sounds like there's no single right way. It really depends on the project needs and maybe your own comfort level with the tech side.
Precisely. Both approaches have their merits. Absolutely. Custom code offers maximum flexibility, the ability to create highly tailored experiences, no doubt.
Right.
But it can also introduce complexities, in terms of development time, debugging, and crucially, ongoing maintenance.
Yeah.
Whereas the platform's native tools are often more straightforward to use and tend to be more resilient when the platform updates happen.
And the practical advice was to really think hard about those long-term maintenance implications before deciding to go heavy on custom code.
That's right. Ask yourself, who's going to maintain and update this bot down the road? We also really emphasize the critical importance of thorough documentation.
Always important.
And comprehensive testing across various devices, different scenarios, before you deploy any bot, regardless of which development approach you choose. Test, test, test.
We even briefly touched on a specific technical point, didn't we? Something related to KTT10 form behavior.
Yeah, we did. And that specific issue kind of highlighted a broader principle. Handling form submissions and triggering subsequent CBB workflows is often significantly simpler and, frankly, more reliable within the CBB ecosystem itself.
So using CBB landing pages, for example.
Exactly, like using CBB landing pages rather than attempting to build complex integrations with external systems via APIs. Especially when you run into things like the specific requirement of needing a phone number when programmatically creating new users through the API. It can get tricky fast. Sticking with CBB tools often avoids that headache.
All right, keep it simple where you can. Okay, so that brings us pretty much to the end of our deep dive into the key discussions and actionable insights from our recent CBB Nation office hours. I really hope that even if you couldn't join us live, you now have a solid feel for the valuable information that was shared.
Yeah, absolutely. And we strongly encourage you to take some time, maybe reflect on these strategies, and think about how you might be able to apply them to your own bot building projects and your overall workflows.
And please, don't hesitate to reach out and let us know what specific challenges are you running into right now. What topics would you be particularly interested in seeing us explore in future sessions? Your feedback is honestly invaluable as we all continue to learn and grow together as a community.
Definitely. We're all working towards building more effective, more impactful bots, so please do share your thoughts and any questions you might have. We want to hear them.
Here's to continuing to build smarter, more effective bots together.
That wraps up another discussion on the office hours recap. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And as always, come on over and join us in the Discord room every week live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. See you next week.